Thank you very much, everybody. So we'll carry on where we left off. We have 3 more debates, and then I'm going to put the motion because I think we've heard lots of positive comments. So the next one out of the blocks is Councillor Johansson.
Great, thank you. I do want to commend the information that we've received. I think it is really good to be able to get such detailed information, but what's really obvious is that we need to change how we do things. And if you take, for example, the concern around roading, that has existed for a number of years now. And if I'm trying to talk to my community about what roads are going to be renewed when, there's almost zero visibility. I think we've probably renewed 1 road in 20 years, I think. So I think there's things that we can do around information, around giving people an ability to participate in the LTP, to also see what condition their roads are in and when they are programmed to be done, that might help. But obviously the information that we've got in this report breaks it down to community board, but doesn't break it down into ward. But what's really clear is that the Coastal Burwood Linwood Community Board has got the highest dissatisfaction for both footpaths and roading. And what's really obvious when you represent those areas is the complaints that you get from residents in that regard. So I do think we do need to start thinking about a focus on the decisions we're making in the LTP. Obviously, amendments to get road renewals done in the east were ruled out of order or not allowed or didn't get support. But at some point, we do need to start matching the resources to the things that people are telling us in terms of the feedback of the things that are creating dissatisfaction. I think the other thing that is really obvious from the resident survey is that we're actually missing from about 1/5 of our population. So under 18 are not included in the results. And I do think that's a big gap because that's a huge amount of people in our society that we're not hearing from about the things that we're doing that are both good for them and the things that they would like us to improve. And I think it would be really useful to get find ways that we can get that information so that we can take a more balanced approach to the concerns that people are raising. But fundamentally, there are things we can do in terms of resource allocation and things that we can do in terms of process that I think will make things better in terms of people understanding how we do things. From my experience, a number of the recent consultations that we've done have been very compressed. For those of us who were here when we did the residents group review almost a decade ago and never quite finished that work, the overwhelming feedback from residents groups was they need about 6 weeks to receive information, ask questions, formulate submissions, and then be involved in the decision. We also used to have a policy where we'd send residents groups works that we were proposing so that they were aware of it. Those things haven't seemed to be being picked up. Instead, what we seem to get is 2 to 3 weeks of engagement at times that makes it really rushed and hard for people to see what's going on. So I welcome the information in this report. I think it is interesting how we respond, but getting the information is really important.
Thank you very much. Councillor Kearns not here at the moment, so Councillor Scandrett, and then we'll put it to the vote. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again to the staff that did this. This is the one survey which is my favourite because it actually goes to the residents. We don't get interest groups, which we get lobbying us for long-term plan consultation. This is actually going out and talking to residents. And we can talk about the age groups and everything, but this is also ratepayers who we've really got to listen to. And if we look at our process for the long-term plan, and we look at dissatisfaction with regards to number 2 is council decision-making, financial management. We're told constantly that we're in a cost of living crisis, and yet around this table we put in over 140 amendments, and in the last few days with those last minute ones, it added to the long-term plan consultation over $180 million if people agree to it. So I think this is a fantastic result. This is a great survey, and I'm amazed that anyone around this table are disappointed with the findings after being told by people on the street, ratepayers, that they are struggling. And yet we just add on and... excuse me, I didn't, by the way. It is really hard also when we are councillors and we are elected by ward. but our first responsibility is to represent the city once we're elected. And that is a strange juxtaposition. And I realise that everyone's looking at the awards, but we do have to lift our heads and our gaze to the whole city, and maybe that way we can get a bit more bang for our buck. And it's an odd thing, and Councillor Fields did mention it, which is about positivity. It is strange that we get more positive feedback outside of Christchurch for Christchurch than around this table. So I think this is a great resident survey, and thank you very much for it.
Thank you very much, everyone, and I'd like to thank everyone for their questions and their debate. It's been very good. So with that, yep, we've moved and seconded it. So I'll put that motion. All those in favour? All those against? Thank you very much. That's carried. Now we come to number